here is Ashley Merchant being asked by the Georgia Senate, what does all of this mean? If they lied, what do we have here? It's SOT 24.
What are the consequences for an attorney to give sworn testimony that she did if you're Bradley, what is it, Yearty, your Trackhawk data, your other independent verifications are found to be truthful?
It's a crime. It's a felony. You'd lose your license.
Okay.
It's perjury.
Same for Wade.
Yes.
Boom, right there. So what, Phil, happens there? Well, let's say this judge says, I disqualify them because I don't think they told the court the truth. He doesn't get to disbar. He doesn't get to do any of that other stuff. So what would happen then?
Well, I'm glad you played that specific SOT because that was exactly the point of her testimony that I wanted to get to. If what she's saying bears out to be true, that there was perjury that was done, that there was other crime. And by the way, it is a crime in Georgia if you're an elected official to violate your oath of office. It's a felony offense. It carries up to 5 years in prison. Perjury is also a felony. You can get disbarred for lying to the court. You can get disbarred for committing felonies. And can I read to you, if I have just a moment, the oath of office that Fani Willis had to take? It says, I do swear that I will faithfully and impartially, without fear, favor, or affection, discharge my duties as district attorney, and I will take only my lawful compensation. So help me God. And so if she lies to the judge under oath, how can you say that she has faithfully and impartially, without fear or favor, discharged her duties? I just don't see that. So I'm wondering if the Senate committee, among the legislative changes that they may be getting to, I'm wondering if they're not gearing up to make a criminal referral, perhaps to the Georgia Attorney General, because there needs to be, and we've talked about this.
Because if there's a criminal, just to jump in quickly, Phil, if there's a criminal referral, now we are going to be able to see the texts between the two of them.
Yeah, because they would be able to access their cell phones. And we know that unless they throw them in the Chattahoochee River here in Atlanta, that even if they're deleted, the law enforcement can still get them. So the Attorney General, theoretically, if he wanted to look into this, he could get the Georgia Bureau of Investigation to open up a criminal investigation to investigate whether there was the felony offense of perjury, whether there's the felony offense of violation of oath of office or anything else. And I would not at all be surprised if that's not one of the things we see from this Senate committee when it wraps up its business. We won't know until next year what legislative changes they might be able to get, but they can make a criminal referral pretty easily. And then it, of course, will be up to the Attorney General. But I'm at the point where I'm wondering if maybe that hasn't already happened. We just don't know if the Attorney General is looking into this, but it could already be underway. I think that regardless of whether the AG gets involved, somebody, whether it's the Senate, I don't think they're exactly the right entity, but we need a full and complete independent investigation beyond what these lawyers are able to do with their limited means as attorneys. We need somebody with full subpoena power, with full ability to get search warrants to be able to get to the bottom of all of this, because the integrity of the system depends on it. And the judge has an obligation, in my view, to make sure that the system works, that the integrity of the system is maintained by all parties, whether it's the defense lawyers or even the district attorney. And if he fails to do that, he's not doing his job. So I think that it's incumbent upon him to make sure that one way or another, we get to the truth.
That's the thing, Phil, because you and I both know there are often bad facts for your client that you would love to not air, right? That you would love to just don't produce the document or don't answer the interrogatory completely honestly. You don't do it. And why is that? Because ethics are a fundamental, important part of being a lawyer. You either are going to be ethical or you're not. And if you're not, you are not going to be an attorney. Not for long. They're going to catch you. It's built right in there. You learn it in law school, ethics. There's a section on the bar exam about ethics. You have to pass an ethical screening in order to actually get sworn into the bar, because so much of it does depend on attorneys and their duty of candor to the court. You can hide things. You can lie if you want. If you're unethical, you can choose to go that way, and it would upend the whole system. So it's not just like, hey, it's office gossip. Maybe I didn't tell the truth about my affair. This whole thing has a much higher bar and more severe consequences and implications than that, which is why I'm glad all these other authorities are the AG should be looking into this. Even if, let's say, best case for Fani, and she can show the legal standard is actual conflict of interest, not just appearance, and that the burden of proof is much, much higher than preponderance of the evidence, which is what she's arguing in her latest motion. She wants clear and convincing, which is a much higher standard. And somehow she convinces Judge McAfee to do all that. And he says, okay, there's a lot of smoke. They couldn't prove fire. I can't DQ her. That can't be the end of the matter.
No, and think about this. Now we've got the proffered testimony of Cindy Yeager, who is the chief assistant DA in neighboring Cobb County. Among other things, she says that she has personal knowledge that Fani Willis herself called Terrence Bradley. She heard that, at least half the conversation, and she says she's got enough to know that it was Willis on the other end stating, because she, I guess, recognized her voice, saying, they're on to us. Shut up. Don't. And I'm paraphrasing, but she basically is now saying that Willis has told Bradley, keep your mouth shut. There's no need to talk about us. There's no need to talk about the things that you know. Is that the impartial and fair administration of justice? I think not. And if she is going that far to the point of tampering with a witness, that could also be a crime. It's called influencing a witness. And if it was done corruptly and with corrupt motives, that's a felony offense in Georgia. Not to mention the fact that we now have a waiter in the nearby Marietta Square at a restaurant who says that he saw Mr. Wade talking to Mr. Bradley within the last few weeks, despite testimony to the contrary. What we're beginning to see a picture of is something very, very deceitful, very dishonest, and very corrupt in the way that this case is being prosecuted, the way that's being maintained, and the way that the justice system, quite frankly, is being administered in Fulton County. And it really needs to be investigated and cleaned up, because if those things are true, then something is very, very rotten in Denmark.